Dear Aron Ra, there I called your name correctly. You want evidence for God? Or at least something that will make you have to think? Break out of your free thinker, atheism, comfortable zone box. I'll show you some stories that will make the hair on your arms stand up. These are the type. Do you see these are the type of the stories Jimmy Snow and Matt Dillahunty and you trying to wanna pretend never happened. But I confess I'm doubting this Jesus is real. I'm doubting. But I can I'll give you 3 reasons why I can never deconvert from Christianity. Aside from the fact something in me knows trust Jesus. No matter what happens, trust Jesus. But you can say that's subjective, so let's throw that reason out. I just had to put it in. Let's see, I got 2 reasons to believe in God and Jesus. Listen to this man right here. This is J. Harold Smith. He's about to share with you about people who refuse to get saved, who mock Christianity, and God kills them. Nowhere in Hinduism has anybody ever died mysteriously because they refused to convert to Hinduism or made fun of Hinduism. Nowhere has anybody been killed for making fun of Mother Mary of the Catholics or been killed for refusing to become a Catholic. Nobody has ever been killed for refusing to convert to Islam or saying Muhammad is a false prophet, which Muhammad is a false prophet and Allah is not God. Now kill me, Allah, bitch. And no other, not even voodoo, where you hear stories like the one you're about to hear right now. Now let me move out aside and let you listen to J. Harold Smith. He was a preacher from the 1930s till he died in 2001.
I was holding a revival meeting in Louisiana in one of the big rodeos. We came to the last night of the revival meeting and I was preaching the sermon that I'm preaching tonight. And I gave the invitation all during the meeting, all during that service. On my right, in the extreme corner of that rodeo were 3 businessmen of that city. They laughed. They made fun. They lit their cigarettes. They cursed. They cursed me. They cursed the ushers. They cursed the sponsors of that revival meeting. And when about 400 people got up out of their seats and began to walk down to give their hearts to Christ, they began to make all sorts of catty remarks and filthy remarks about those who were coming to the altar. I met them as they came down out of the rodeo, and I said, I do not know who you gentlemen are, but all 3 of you have blasphemed against God's Spirit, and you've stepped over God's deadline. One of them said, is that right? I didn't say another word. They left. The next morning at 8 o'clock, one of those businessmen put his key in his door to unlock his business and dropped dead in the street before he could open the door. At 11:30 that day, the second businessman started to cross the street in that little city and dropped dead in the middle of the street with a heart attack. At 5:30 that afternoon, the third one was sitting in his office with his secretary, and he said to her, before the sun goes down, I'll be in hell. She said, ask God to forgive you. And he said, it's too late, and pitched out of his chair, a corpse.
Now this man who the night before did not believe in Christianity, right before he dies, he knows he's gonna die and be in hell. How can you explain? There's never been a person who made fun of Islam and the day after got the impression, oh, Allah's gonna kill me, I'm gonna go to hell. Only in Christianity has this happened. I'll play another excerpt where he preached the same sermon but at a different place.
Tell God. I have motels or hotels in which I could stay, and we were staying in the home of the pastor. At 10 o'clock that night, the telephone rang, and I heard the pastor when he had a motorcycle parked right there. Come in. We are so down and around the curve, said I saw the approaching automobile. But off half of his skull and this part of his shoulder. The morning he was riding piggyback. My two buddies are in hell.
There he goes.
I have motels or hotels in which I could stay, and we were staying in the home of the pastor. At 10 o'clock that night, the telephone rang, and I heard the pastor when he answered it. He said, "Well, he's awfully tired, and I don't want to disturb him. Call him back in the morning." And the party on the other end of the line said, "I must talk to him now." And it was a pastor of the First Methodist Church of that city. And when I got on the telephone, this is what he told me. He said, "Preacher, our whole parish is in an uproar." He said, "You remember those three men that disturbed the service?" I said, "I certainly do." He said, at 8 o'clock this morning, one of those men started to unlock the door of his office on Main Street and dropped dead. He said at 11:30 today, that second man started across from his office to a little restaurant and fell dead in the middle of the street. He said at 5 o'clock this afternoon, the third man was sitting in his office with his secretary, and he said to her, as his little window faced the west, he said, "You see the sun going down? My two buddies are in hell, and before that sun goes down, I'll join them," and pitched out at her feet a corpse.
How do you explain that, Aron Ra? How do you explain that? Where's your science to explain that? I'll never stop believing in Jesus. These stories seal it for me. These stories are a dime a dozen. I can give you more stories like this. But I offered as final evidence. I had a friend named Dudley Jones. Back in 1986, his mom and dad had just gotten saved, and they started attending church. Well, one Sunday morning, the parents got up to tell of a story that happened to him the previous day. The mother burst into tears as he was telling it. He's like, we pulled up into the convenience store and filled our gas tank up with gas, and the gas tank was in the back of the car, and we had a full tank of gas. Dudley, that's his son. That's their son, was riding in the back seat. We pulled out of the gas station. There's a car behind us coming, not paying any attention, speeding. He was about to hit the back of my car and cause that gas tank to explode, and no doubt kill us all. But all of a sudden, this huge white hand came down and stopped the car. And the mother was crying when he got to that point. And the man who almost ran in it, who would have ran the back into the car, got out, shook his head. Aron Ra, how do you explain that? And don't you dare, please don't you dare do this double standard. Oh, it didn't happen. It was made up. I know the guy I know the son, Dudley Jones. I could bring his ass onto the video, and he could tell the story here. His damn self. He's still alive. What you gonna do? Are you gonna try to kill? Are you gonna send somebody to hitman to kill him so you can silence him? No. If God is not real, debunk these stories. Explain these stories away. You think you're gonna get me to deconvert if you can't even debunk these stories? Good luck.